Yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy King Sanders here. We are back with another day of sports betting. This is going to be for Saturday, November 12th slate of NBA action. Man, I'm super excited to dive into it. We do have a pretty decent slate on today. Definitely not anything like we've had the last couple of days, but I still think it's a pretty good slate overall. There's a couple good spots that I did want to go ahead and target, a couple spots that I did really like, a couple interesting games as well. Some games actually should be pretty solid, including the early game. I really like the early game quite a bit, and we do have a play from that as well. But before we go ahead and dive into it, I did just want to go ahead and say that we are now actually on the road to 9,000 subscribers, which is absolutely unreal. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to hit 8,000 subscribers. It's truly a crazy feeling. It's something that I never thought I would achieve at all. Never even come close to it, but thank you guys seriously for all the love and support. But we're on the road to 9,000, a whole new grind. So if you guys are new, make sure that you guys do like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Next, I did just want to go ahead and give a quick shout out here to all of our members here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys do. And thank you guys so much for giving such a small channel such a big chance, as I always say. It truly does mean the absolute world to me. So much more than you guys will ever know. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into a quick recap from yesterday. Oh, but before we do... And boom, ladies and gentlemen, yes, we are here once again with the sunnies on, with the shades on. And if you guys are new, that means we ended up getting a 4-0 clean sweep of the day. We had an absolutely fantastic day as of today, or as of yesterday, excuse me. Fantastic day. Ended up going 4-0. We've actually been on an insane run this week. Monday we went 4-0. Wednesday we went 3-1. Thursday we ended up going 1-2, but then another 4-0 day as of yesterday. So we've been really solid here. Hopefully we can continue it. But let's do a quick recap as of yesterday. So we had our kill shot play of the day. SGA under 4.5 assists versus Toronto at plus odds. Not a single person agreed with this bet, and rightfully so. I get it. I understand it. But I did see some stats to back it up, and I did see some value on it, and it ended up working out here for us. I will say that if it wasn't a blowout, odds are he probably would have hit the over. But even up until the third quarter, he was only by halftime, he was only at 2. So there's a good chance that he may have not gotten it, even if the game was close. But regardless, it ended up working out for us. Finished with just 4. This line ended up moving to 5.5 for like minus 130. But I'm really glad I got it with where it's at. Then we did end up having Desmond Bane over 22.5 points versus the Timberwolves at minus 120. Very slow start for Desmond Bane. He had a very rough night when it comes to shooting the ball for the first half of the game. Really picked it up in that third quarter. Didn't play much of the fourth, but then once he finally got back in with like 5 or 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, then he ended up getting a bucket and ended up working out for us. Then we did have Julius Randle over 20.5 points versus Detroit at minus 115. I got to be completely honest. This bet was one of the sweatiest bets that I've seen in a very long time. Julius Randle, once again, really didn't have the best shooting night overall. He shot pretty poorly from the field, but the thing that really saved us was at the very end of the game, with 4 or 5 minutes left, the Detroit Pistons had actually started to fight back, made this game close. Julius Randle ends up getting subbed back in, and then with like 3 minutes left, Julius Randle shoots a mid-range jump shot, misses it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's at 19 at this point. I was like, he's not hitting this over. He's not hitting this over. Stuff like that. I was really worried. But then he ends up scoring he ends up getting to the, he ends up scoring with just like 2 minutes left. It was very close. But Julius Randle ended up getting it done for us. Then we had De'Aaron Fox over 25.5 points versus the Lakers. Once again, another player. Super slow start for Mr. De'Aaron Fox, but once he ended up getting it going, it ended up working out for us. So we ended up going 4-0 on our plays. Hopefully we can have another great day today. I found 4 plays that I really like. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. We're starting with our Kings kill shot play of the day, as always. We're taking Trae Young under 25.5 points here versus Philadelphia at minus 115 odds. Now, if you take a look at it, he did end up going over in the last game versus Philadelphia. He finished with 26, so he finished right on the hook, but I think this is a good spot to sell a little bit high because in that last game, he had 10 free throw attempts, and he made all 10 of them. I don't think he's going to be shooting 10 free throws once again as of today. Philadelphia also does allow the fewest points per game in the entire NBA to the point guard position. They're very, very good defensively to that point guard position. Philadelphia also allows the sixth fewest points per game just in general to teams. They've been a very good defensive team just in general. Definitely very solid. I know that James Harden being out of the lineup probably does help it a little bit, but they have actually been solid with or without him on the floor. So I think it's a pretty good spot to target here. Also, Philadelphia does play at the slowest pace in the entire NBA, and this is huge. This is huge because when it comes to the Atlanta Hawks, they do love to get up and down the floor. They play with a lot of energy. They play at a pretty high pace. Philadelphia is going to slow a lot of that down, especially with no James Harden. I think that they're going to be slowing it down even more, really starting to work things through with Embiid. I do like Embiid's over as well today, too, if you wanted to take that. But I think they're going to focus a lot of their offense through Embiid, and I just think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be a very slow-paced game. And last game that he did end up going over versus Philadelphia, DeJounte Murray only had 10 points. Newsflash, I don't think DeJounte Murray only scores 10 points again. His points line stayed at 20.5, and I'd be betting for the over. So I think that it's a pretty good spot here. I don't think Trae Young's going to see nearly as much success versus the Philadelphia 76ers as he did last game, where he shot 10 free throw attempts. I don't foresee that happening again. So that is going to be our King's Kill Shot play of the day. Trae Young under 25.5 points here versus Philadelphia at minus 115 odds. Now for our second play of the day, get this one in early because this is in the early game. We're taking the Nets and the Clippers under 212 at minus 110 odds. Now, as I have mentioned in the last couple of videos, Brooklyn defense has been elite recently. Not just good, it's been absolutely elite. The Nets have not let their opponent score more than 100 points. They have not let their opponents get to triple digits in 4 straight games. They've been absolutely elite on the defensive side of things. And not to mention the Clippers, they've been a great under team too. Clippers are 10-2 to the under so far this year. And Brooklyn, they're 8-4 to the under. Both these teams have been great to the under. I think it's another great spot for them. Clippers also allow the 6th fewest points per game to opposing teams in general. Brooklyn allows the 9th fewest points per game over the whole season. And Brooklyn allows the fewest points per game to opposing teams in last 3. So I think in the last 3 games. So I think it's a really good spot here. I think that it is that it's a great spot to target. Clippers are 4th in defensive efficiency, one of the best defenses in basketball. Brooklyn, in their last 3, has been the best defense in basketball when it comes to defensive efficiency. You look at all those numbers, it's just a great spot. Clippers are last when it comes to points per game. They've really struggled when it comes to scoring the basketball, too. They've not necessarily been the greatest offense. And when it comes to the pace between these two teams, both very slow. Clippers are 23rd in pace. Brooklyn is 24th. Both these teams are in the bottom echelon when it comes to pace. Definitely 2 slow-paced teams, 2 defenses that have looked great, and 1 offense that hasn't looked so great. I think that's a great recipe here for an under, so we're going to be riding with it. For our second play of the day, Brooklyn and the Clippers under 212 points at minus 110 odds. Now for our third play of the day, we're going to be taking Kristaps Porzingis over 8.5 rebounds here versus Utah at minus 130 odds. This is a pretty great buy low spot. He has ended up going under in 2 straight games. He truly has struggled in his last 2. But I think he gets a bounce back spot here because Utah, they do allow the 5th most rebounds per game to opposing centers. Top 5 when it comes to rebounds per game to that opposing center position. And Utah is also a very fast-paced team. They do play at the 9th fastest pace in the entire NBA. In the top 10, I'll definitely be taking my odds with it. Utah also, they give up a lot of rebounds just in general. They give up the 9th most rebounds per game to opposing teams. And I think it's a really good spot. I know Utah has been absolutely fantastic, but they are still trying to figure out that center position. I know Walker Kessler has looked pretty solid, but they are still trying to figure out exactly what they're going to be doing at that center position between Kelly Olynyk, Walker Kessler, and just some other guys. But I think that it's a really good spot here to target. So we're going to be riding with it for our third play of the day. Kristaps Porzingis over 8.5 rebounds versus Utah at minus 130 odds. Now for our fourth and final play of the day, we are going to be taking Kevin Porter Jr. over 6.5 assists here versus the Pelicans at minus 105 odds. I don't really love his points line. I am not a huge fan of his rebounds line, but I do love this assist line here, and let me explain why. He has hit the over in 3 of his last 4 games, and in 2 of those games that he did end up hitting over, he had over double-digit assists. Now, I love that as a stat. If he's going to be getting double-digit assists or even close to it, I think it's a really good spot to ride the hot hand until the wheels do end up falling off. The Pelicans also do give up the second most assists per game to opposing point guards, and Kevin Porter Jr. has been really good at facilitating the ball. Pelicans are also 11th when it comes to pace, one of the fastest paced teams in the entire NBA, just outside that top 10, still a pretty good spot. Also, the Pels have given up 115 points per game in their last 5 games. That's a pretty decent sample size. Their defense hasn't looked great over the last 5 games, and so versus a young Rockets team, they definitely might not take them very seriously. And with an over-under here of 230 points, I think he can definitely get it done. We're only asking for him to assist on anywhere from 17 to 20 of those points, and I think it's a really good spot here. So we're going to be riding with it for our 4th and final play of the day. Kevin Porter Jr. over 16.5 points here versus the Pelicans at minus 105 odds. So that is going to do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys do like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Like I said, we are now currently on the road to 9,000 subscribers. So if you guys are new, make sure that you guys are subbed. But that's going to do it for me. This is King Sander signing out. Peace.